Mayo edition. Fuck, that'd be great.
The classic couch, yeah.
Fucking Cox is uncut.
Okay, so we're here with comedian Danny O'Brien. How are you, Danny?
Alright, lads.
Danny, it's great to have you on the podcast. I've been excited about this one. You better live up to it now.
Yeah, no pressure.
So you're performing tonight, so this is going to come out now in about a week's time, but tonight you're performing in Westport Town Hall.
I am indeed, yeah. I was in Ennis last night in Glore, Westport tonight, and then I'm going to be in the Roisin Dove tomorrow night, which is already sold out in advance, which is
Okay,
very
so
good.
gigs after the 4th of February, I think it's
Yeah, all over the place.
No, from this podcast might be out on the 4th of February, so you got what's coming up in
I'm about another 18 dates all around
Ireland.
Yeah, yeah.
And I saw you a while ago, and I then started following you on Instagram, and you seem to be like one of the busiest comedians I've ever seen. Are you non-stop on the go, or you're in the car?
Yeah.
You seem to be constantly on the go.
I just do laps around my house. I just check in at different places to give the illusion. Yeah, like I mean, there's. I don't know, we only got one go around the clock, and I'm a fairly busy person, do you know what I mean? I'd rather just kind of get stuck into it.
Pack as much in.
Yeah, just, you know what I mean? And just go for it, you know? And I think the busier you are, the harder you work, the more opportunities you get, the better a comic you become, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm in my 30s now, you're not going to be able to work at this level forever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of,
the energy.
do it while you have the energy, do you know what I mean?
You do have a good bit of energy on stage, like.
Yeah.
That is one thing about you. You bring a lot of energy to your shows, like.
Do you find it hard to get yourself pumped up like that? Do you have to kind of, like, if you're not feeling it, you have to act.
You have to dig deep. You just have to get into it.
I remember that is one thing Jer said, that he said if he's having a rough day, it's kind of, on stage he is someone who is kind of generally easygoing.
Yeah, more lethargic.
You've got the, it has to be tough if you're having a tough day.
It is, and it's like you feel it as well, like you feel, you know what way a gig is going to go within the first 5 seconds. I used to say 10 seconds, but now you just know, you can feel it instantly, you can feel the audience being slightly withdrawn, and if you open with something that usually always works, and you're just kind of getting you're like, oh, here we go, this is what it's going to be.
It is a tough thing for comics, that it is like, your whole thing, it is on how their night is going. It could have been how their day has been. It's necessarily you could be on fire.
We had the biggest, we had a bando man in Deirdre Arcade in a club in Dublin that's on 3 nights a week. And we had a bando man in Deirdre Arcade in huge acts. It's such a small club. And if anyone's never seen a bando man live, go check him out on YouTube.
I saw them at Kilkenny.
It's phenomenal.
It's crazy.
He's phenomenal.
Like it's mad. Like
Rob Broderick, improvised rap.
All that rap stuff
from a white fella from Rathfarnham.
He's asking people to like throw him up stuff, and he just starts making raps about it. Yeah.
He has the rap made before you've given your second suggestion, and he makes it about you. Like it's
really
it's
on
a gift.
Off the cuff.
Yeah, it's a gift. And loads of people have tried to kind of rip off his shtick over the years. I've seen a few like Aldi versions of him. And no one's the same. It's unique, you know. But we had them on. We had them on actually this week, but then it was about 2 weeks ago they were on first. Place was packed, like people in the corridor, you name it. And I was like, this is going to be savage, and the audience just weren't giving it. And I actually was just going, even if everything else lines up and it's a great night and it's full, and even the night you've sold out, you think, oh, that's it, the show's been sold out.
It's a given.
It just, you don't know.
Yeah.
And like Castlebar Comedy Club does it to us all the time. Like we sold out every show there. There's never been a show.
It's amazing.
You know, but at the same time, there's some nights me and Jared just go, we take the piss. We're like, they don't give us a break, because some nights it's packed, they're like, this is going to be class, and they'll still sit there with the Mayo head, with the arms folded. Do you know what I mean?
Impress me.
Do you know what I mean? That's exactly it. And some nights, from the word go, it's bang, 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 but more often than not, they sit there with the arms folded, and it always gets there. But they never make it easy.
You actually, you and Jer Cole kind of founded the comedy club.
We co-run it, and we alternate, because Jer's in America now. I'll be in New Zealand and Asia and a bit later in the year, so we work it between us. So I might do 1 or 2 and be away for a couple of months, or we'd alternate. It just depends on the way the year is going, you know.
Yeah.
How long are you doing comedy?
Oh Jesus, 12 years next month.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
What triggered it for you, Danny? Like, what made you think this is the path I want to take?
It wasn't my.
Yeah.
Were you the class clown?
I was an awful messer. I couldn't focus on anything I wasn't interested in. I just wanted to have the crack.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? My birthday falls at a kind of a weird date where I was kind of just too old to be in the year before, but only by a couple of days. My birthday's August 31st, so I was like the youngest in my class as well. So and I loved having the crack. I used to do school plays and stuff like that, and that was something I always really enjoyed. But I was an absolute melt for a lot of my teachers. Like I was an absolute little prick. I'll be the first day. I was just a messer. Like I threw my school bag through a window once by accident. Just messing, like I threw it. I just did loads.
There's one in every class.
Yeah, and we had plenty. I went to a really rough country school.
Where are you from? You're from Wicklow, yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Glendalough, and I went to school in a place called Rathrum in County Wicklow, and there was a tech there, and really good bunch of lads, though, I have to say. Really small school, and I'm really glad I kind of went to school there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I moved from Dublin when I was about 9, and it's an hour's drive from Dublin, but it's a parallel universe.
Yeah, it's a different.
It's the difference between Galway and Tuam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Short distance.
Yeah, but
miles apart.
Yeah.
Similarly, you were saying you're up in Belfast. I mean, drive an hour from Belfast in any direction.
No, of course.
It's a far different world.
It's massive different. Yeah.
So what did drive into comedy then?
I come back in about, what is it, in now? So we're in, it must have been about 2007. I've been working in Australia, working on building sites, bars, putting up marquees, furniture removal, you name the job. I did everything, just backpacking, and you don't care, you're doing whatever job, you're making good money, you're having the crack. Yeah, it was loads of work. And then I come back to Ireland, my visa I was in Australia and New Zealand for about 3 years, I think, altogether, and a bit of Asia and all that crack. Came home, and I was home about 2 weeks, and I remember driving, and it came on the radio and it just said Ireland has plunged into the greatest economic recession that it has ever seen. Everyone was losing their jobs. Yeah. When I left during the good times, like I left when lads my age, I was like 22 even, everyone was buying houses. There was lads my age buying BMWs and stuff, and I was just going, this is madness. Yeah. And I remember leaving going, this can't last, but I had no idea it was going to come back to the absolute shit show. And it was really depressing, to be honest with you, and I was kind of a bit lost, didn't know what to do with myself. I was working in a bar that I used to work in when I was in college. I was just going, this can't be. I was going to move to London and work in construction. I was driving trucks and all in Australia. I had no license, but they just believe that you're able to do that. You know what I mean? Because you're Irish.
You're Irish.
I didn't even have a car license. I had a provisional. This is true. I took 8 points for a fella who owned a digger. And he gave me $100 a point because the points didn't transfer, and I remember getting 800 quid and going up the East Coast and bonus. But anyway, I came back, and my mother actually, I was just so stressed out. I was hating my life. My mother sent me a thing. It was a comedy writing thing, and she goes, "You should do this." You know what I mean?
Kind of course.
Yeah, it's like for comedy writing and stuff like that. So I did a workshop thing for. It was every Monday in Doyle's pub, which is right beside Trinity. It's banging a bit. It's like Pier Street Card Station, I think. So we did this course, me and there's about 6 or 7 of us, and at the end of it you have an option to do a showcase, which is when you write 7 minutes of comedy and you perform at 7 minutes. So that was my first gig.
Okay.
And it was on the 15th of February, 12 years ago, because I remember it was called the Post-Valentine's Day Massacre. That was the name of the show. And it was terrible, like I could never watch back at it, but it was the best of a bad bunch. Do you get me? But like now, if I had to watch that, I'd be like,
but there was potential there, so
you know. But I was a million miles an hour. Yeah. You're all over the place. I serious like panic attacks coming like proper full. I didn't know. I got panic attacks really badly for about a year and a half. And this is before Brezzy, before any stigma, and it was in New Zealand, and I didn't know what was happening to me. Yeah, okay. And I was too embarrassed about it. And then I think I was in New Zealand. I said to my aunt who was living over there, I said, I keep not being able to breathe and stuff. And she was just like, oh, maybe go to the doctor. She didn't no answer for me. So I just left it. And I remember I had to come home for a wedding, and my uncle's mates are doctors, their husband and wife. And my mother said, just call up to the house. So I just called up to him, and I said, he's like, yeah, you're having panic attacks. So I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I used to get them in college. He goes, give me beta blockers. And he's just like, take these. And I started taking them. But it was the most, and when I hear anyone talking about anything like that, I have the utmost sympathy for them. Because if you've never had a panic attack, it's straight up, and like a lot of people get them if they're really hungover and stuff, but they come out of nowhere. And I didn't feel particularly stressed at the time. It was so bad, like you wouldn't be able to breathe. You just have to go into a room. You'd be in the cinema, the supermarket, you just feel like, I can't breathe, it's horrible.
That is horrible.
It's really horrible. It's like being drowned without being in the water. You know what I mean? And then you're sweating, and this went on for ages, but
And do you get nervous now before a gig? Would you get?
Yeah, sometimes, if it's a big gig, I think nerves are essential. People always say that as well, you get nervous, but I think nerves they're what drives you.
For
it's same as a match. You've got a big game coming up, and if you're being off whatever, It's like, do you know what it reminds me of? Do you ever see like fighters go in and they're kind of swinging their hips and they're kind of whatever, here we go, and then the lad just cleans them up because they've got this nonchalant. I think you need to be a little bit.
It keeps you on form.
And it means if you're a little bit nervous about what you're about to do, it's proof that you give a shit and you care about what you're about to do. Do you know what I mean? I think it's like.
You're nervous before a big gig. Well, I saw you opened for Bill Burr.
In
the 3 Arena.
That must have been amazing.
That was nerve-wracking. He's my hero.
Even just to be performing before him, you're the whole 3 Arena.
We were hanging out. He did my club in Dublin the night before.
Oh, class!
That was unbelievable.
My brother was actually at that.
He
showed up, and it was meant to be. It was great
because we didn't tell anyone. We worked it out.
That was brilliant. That it was just that surprise.
Jeez, what a treat! What a treat to go to it.
But it was quite funny in the 3 Arena, right? It's a massive setup, but there's no difference in setups really in comedy clubs, whether it's like Westport or it's
big,
But so there's a sound desk at the left hand side of the stage, and then you walk on, and the sound tech went for a smoke. Right, 7,000 people. Like you think in a big production like that.
So stage.
Just before I went on, so Bill was announced me at the side. There's a microphone at the side of the stage, same as every theatre, right? And he's like, alright, and he goes, where the fuck is he guy gone? So he went on stage, right? So 7,000 people go bananas because Bill Burr's coming on. And they're like, ah! And he goes, alright, calm down. He goes, alright, gotta support it. He's great. Welcome, Danny O'Brien. And that was the most horrific and longest walk of my life because they're like,
Jesus Christ,
horrific. And I went on, and then luckily the first gags kicked in, and then it started going. And the first few minutes were tough enough. Like you're just kind of getting there, like who's this? Because no one's there for the support.
People are finding their seats and stuff as well. I went to see Ricky Gervais in the 3 Arena. There was a guy on tour, and I thought it was very hard because like people are coming in, getting pints, sitting down, and chatting. Well, I can't wait to see Ricky. You're like, this is what I was trying to give you.
They're on social media.
It is. It's tough going, but did you? Like, you must have really enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, you know, I've been off the booze and stuff for ages in the lead up to this, and I was kind of. I just was so happy just to get through it and went well. Do you know what I mean? And then when the lights come up, it was Jim from Jim and Nobby on FM 104, the Strawberry Alarm Clock. He was actually in the second row, and then Tommy Tiernan was 2 seats down from him.
Oh God!
But I couldn't see them until the lights came on.
Probably better off. Though.
Yeah, I know Jim. He's super sound bloke, and I know Tommy obviously, but Tommy being another kind of idol of mine. Tommy was just wearing like a little bow and like hat, and he was just clapping. I was like, oh God. But no, like listen, it's the best decision I ever made. I had some prick yesterday. I was in the gym in Dublin. I hope he hears this. And I was in the gym yesterday, and one of the reasons this new show it's about fixing my knee. So I've always hated the gym. So I go to this gym in Dublin, and you do these really intense HIIT classes for an hour. You show up, you do it, and you're gone, and you're broken afterwards. That for me is the only way I can do the gym. Is to just go there, do it, get into your car. That's literally it. And they're small groups, and it fixed my knee, stopped me having to get an operation. And I go there for quiet time. I'm there to go to the gym.
Get in the zone.
I'm there to exercise. And there's the trainer is actually the guy who owns it's from Mayo actually, Paul Moore. He's from Castlebar. He was in. I only found out recently that he was actually in the same class as Ger Staunton's brother.
Okay.
Because their dad used to cut his hair and all this. And like everything comes back to that barber. Everything. The barber is like the anchor of Castlebar. It's hilarious. Everyone's been in there. Or they might like. I've loads of family out in Claremorris and Hollymount. And they're like, so I don't know the barbers, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was in the gym, and there's a South African woman in the gym, and you're putting 2s or 3s. We're on a salt bike, which is the worst thing you'll ever do in your life. I nearly tried up on it. And she's like, I saw you on something like, do you do comedy? And I was like, yeah. And I'd just be quiet about it. I'm not trying to be a dick, you know? And then we were chatting away, did you do the Edinburgh Festival? I said, yeah, and sure, what are you doing? I was like, I'm actually doing TV after this today. So I was like, they better put like a load of makeup on me because it's going to be pure, like, I'm going to look like I was on the scoop, but I was actually at the gym. And the guy beside me, who I wasn't even speaking to, I don't know him when he's there, you do comedy, he's getting his cork, he's getting real sneery with me, and I was just like, man, whatever. And then he's like, we were all on the wall like afterwards, and he starts like mounting at me, kind of going, oh yeah, you're comedian, oh yeah, that's not a real job. And I'm just there going, man, you don't fucking know me. And also, I work harder, and if I put every real job I've ever done in my whole life, I have never worked harder than you do as a comic. Do you think that we just get
It's a different type of hard work. Like, it's your mind is constantly on.
The bit on, like, comedy is genuinely 90% travelling and 90% kind of admin, right? 90% admin and travelling, 5% writing and creating and trying to get stuff together and trying stuff out, and 5% actually doing stand-up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's so much like the iceberg stuff that everything goes on behind.
Like I'm genuinely, like, my routine normally, if I'm not like driving around the place or I'm flying somewhere or whatever, I'm up at like say 9 o'clock or whatever, because you're gigging till like 12. So the earliest I'd ever get to bed is mid. Like midnight is the best I can do. The absolute. If I can get into bed by midnight, that's the best, because you can't just go home after a gig at 11:30 and be like, okay, sleep time.
Because you're buzzed up.
Your head's flying. So. You know, so you do that, and then I'll do all my tour admin and all that stuff all day, whatever stuff you have to do. You might be writing a thing, or you might be doing this or a voiceover. You do that, might go to the gym during the day, do your adult stuff or whatever it may be, go to the bank, all the usual crack, have some food, go into town, do a gig, or if you're doing a tour show or you're driving across the country, you're finishing up at about 11. That's my life for 7 days a week, pretty much 300 and I'd say 55 days a year. Do you know what I mean?
But you love tough going.
I love it. I love it.
So it's not work. I know it's work, but it's not like you know. There's some people who have to get up every day and do a job they fucking hate.
That's where that remark comes from. That's because they hate their job.
I
hated my job. I hated my job and I left it.
You changed it. You did
get some balls and leave it.
I'd say there's a lot of people like I even said like. Yeah, it's a good thing. I said it to Jared. Like, you offer in Castlebar Comedy Club, probably the same in Dublin. You do open mic nights for people who want to give it a go.
We've 3 a week. We've 3 open spots a week in the Crunch. So we're giving 3 opportunities a week to people that
which
are
is great
comedy.
for people who want to like do it. You know.
Yeah, but like the thing about it is,
you should have said that to the fellow in the gym. Come on,
But like, you know, I actually had this discussion with someone yesterday. A few of my cousins are musicians. One of them from Mayo was like, he's gifted, like absolutely ridiculous. He's in a load of different bands and blah blah blah. Plays in the concert hall, but he has he's been working at that since he's been probably 4 years of age. Just constant, like thousands of hours of working. And people go, oh, I can't be a musician because I haven't put the energy in. But because you do comedy and there's no music involved, they think that all you do is just get on stage. And that's it. And because you've made that small step and they haven't made that small step, that makes them feel bad about their lives. So that's why they'll be quite happy to snipe at you and be like, oh yeah, you're a comedian.
It's a small mind.
You're not funny, you're not funny. And I'm just there going, alright, you do it then.
Yeah, but I think it's a thing that a lot of people would love to do as well. Like,
because it's feasible for anyone to do.
For a lot of people, the time they'll ever get to do it is like if they get to do a best man speech. You know what I mean? That's their one time when they get to stand up and have a mic and be funny. But even then, how fucking hard is it to do that? It's very hard for people, and then they realise. And if you're going to do that, like, how many nights a week do you gig?
Every night.
Every night.
7 nights.
Yeah, easy. And like what day are we on? Today we're on. It's Friday. So Monday, I had 2 gigs on Monday. I did Cherry Comedy and the Wool Shed. And I called into my own club to make sure that was all alright. On Tuesday I hosted my own club, which is the Crunch. On Wednesday I did Riff Raff, and on Shut. Last night I did Lore. Tonight I'm in Westport. Saturday I'm in the Roisin Dublin Galway. Sunday I'm back in the Crunch.
Jesus.
It is a busy schedule.
I did 12 radio interviews this week. You're on my 2nd podcast this week. I'm doing 2 food reviews this weekend as well.
The food reviews, I obviously see it on Instagram. You're big into your food,
I love it, it's great crack.
Do you cook as well, or do you just critique?
No, genuine. I'm not like a critique. Like
no, but I mean, I've often seen some of your videos, and you just like they're like it's fairly nice looking food. Yeah, are you vegan? No.
No. I kind of tried to be vegan just to write about it.
Yeah.
And I think we can all agree, like, we all need to wind down the meat. Like, let's be straight up. The planet's dying. It's the main root cause of it. You know, I never like preach, but I personally just try to keep my meat eating down to maybe once or twice a week. Lay off no more buying the
I just think for our health though as well.
Yeah, man.
I just love it.
Listen, lads, Mayo is the West is the best for food, but like, you know yourselves. Over here, like, you come over like 2 or 3 days in Mayo, you can feel the scurvy. You know what I mean? Like the butter and the potatoes, like you feel it on you, like. But yeah, I do a bit of food stuff on the side. I'm actually going to do one today in Castlebar. I think I'm going to get out to the Olive Tree.
Oh, lovely.
Really nice. Tomato soup I love. I know
really
soup.
And the guy who owns is actually really nice.
But that's one of the reasons I was chatting to Dodgy Tommy of Dirty Circus fame. Have you had Tommy Walsh on yet?
No.
You need to have him as a guest.
Right.
He's in my top 3 of favourite human beings to ever come from Mayo.
Where is he from Mayo?
He's from Castlebar.
What's his name?
Tommy Walsh.
What's been the top 2?
He runs the exactly. He's the third wheel. He runs the Dirty Circus, which is in.
Oh, I saw that's going to be or was in.
Carnival's,
yeah. It's like a burlesque sort of show then.
Yeah, it's mad. Like I've hosted a few of them. Jer has done a few. Whatchamacallit, Jer's done a few spots. A few comics have done. They'll have the odd comic on every now and then.
Yeah.
But there's a funniness in Mayo that just doesn't exist anywhere else. Do you know what I mean? There's something about Mayo like. I don't know, it's just
Mayo.
I saw your show that you did in the Linen Hall a couple of years ago, and you had the motorbike at the time. Your opening video.
2 years ago.
Your opening video was you had a camera on your helmet.
Yeah.
Some guy flags you down.
Oh yeah, that was in Gaul. That was in Connemara. Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. It's like what was it? He said he's asking you for a lift.
I asked him for directions and he asked me for a lift. And I said I don't have a hair spare helmet. He's like, I have a head like a stone. So I just threw him on the back and brought him.
You gave him a lift.
Yeah, of course I did.
Just
if the guards are listening, I didn't.
I have a head like a stone. That's a great line.
Yeah.
Can I jump back a bit, Danny? And I just want to ask you about the knee, because I've read about it. What happened to your knee?
A comic in Oz. He actually sent me an apology message on Instagram today because there's been like a load of my videos are up at the moment, new videos, and the first line of the tour is what happens when a touring comic can no longer stand up. And the guy who wrecked my knee, actually, you can check that on my Instagram. He actually commented going, "I'm legit so sorry for doing that to your knee, bro." Like, we were locked. And you know Tom Green, the Canadian guy. So
I love Tom Green.
He basically, we were in Adelaide Fringe in 2016, and he got given like a tower of craft beers, right? And he was going the next day. He got like some companies like, here, have all of our craft beer, and so we just all got locked, and there was all sorts of other bold chemicals involved. And it was just an absolute, like the Prodigy Smack My Bitch Up video. Just you know, one of those mayhem, right? So we did that, and then we were in this place called the Rhino Room at the Adelaide Fringe, and me and this comic were messing, we're all dancing and just being spaz, you know what I mean? Just pure Cox's behaviour, you know, you're absolutely scooped and it's 3 o'clock and you're just like, rah. And basically he fell backwards and hyperextended my knee on itself. Right? And I was well on, and it's the most painful thing that's ever happened to me. And I just hit the ground, and I was like, you know, there's a difference between getting a dead leg, or you know, I've rolled my ankle a good few times. I've come off motorbikes and stuff, but this was different. You know what I mean?
Oh God.
And then anyway, I kind of left it in typical Irish fashion for a while, and it kind of got better, and then I'd run on it, and then it'd be alright for a while, but then you'd just be you wouldn't know. You'd be walking one day, and your leg would just nearly literally, it's like you just,
ACL.
it's like, So eventually, I was back in Oz and it was hurt, so I went to a physio, got some bad physio advice that were just like, oh yeah, if you just do this, and it just didn't fix it, to be honest with you. So then I went for an MRI scan, and I basically had a completely torn ACL, but it was torn along the muscle. Do you get me? So like if you snap your ACL, you have to get an operation because it means you have to reattach the muscle to the bone essentially. If it goes, it goes. But this was torn along the muscle, which is, do you know what I mean? Like so, like sideways.
Okay, transversely.
Exactly. And my meniscus was all wrecked and stuff as well. So I was faced with an operation that could have put me out for about 8 months. You can't really drive for 2, and it's all dependent.
Of course,
there's no guarantee. And like you saw me, I drove here like it. There's no other way to do this as a career without a car. I know some comics who don't drive, and I honestly think your car is the most important thing in your life. You have to get around. What are you going to do? How are you going to get back from Ennis on a Thursday night at 10:30? You know what I mean? There is no. We've 3 rail lines in this country. You know what I mean?
And they're all on the east coast.
And they're all wrecked. And they're all under construction. But so I went in, and I faced with the option of, I did rehab for like forever, like months and months and months. Went to a different physio, different rehab. It was getting stronger, but it wasn't getting better. Do you know what I mean? And it still hurt me. And I went to this guy in town, just a gym, and I just said, this is the crack. And he brought me through all these exercises, and he did all different stuff with me, and some of them would kind of hurt. And he just goes, I don't see any reason why you can't train. So all the rehab had helped a little bit. So I went for it when I was writing this new show, and I decided to give up sugar, booze, meat. I said, if I'm going to go for this, I might as well go for everything else. Do you know what I mean? If you're in that
you're in that
headspace, I suppose. and I burst.
Bring that mic.
Yeah, I absolutely bursted out of it for I think 6 weeks, and in 6 weeks I pretty much fixed my knee.
Really?
After I had 2 years of shit, and in 6 weeks I got down to under 10% body fat, which I didn't plan to do. I just went on the machine one day, and your one's like, you're after dropping 4% body fat.
You're ripped.
Yeah, no, I was just in shape. I'm slim. I didn't think I had that to lose.
Yeah, great.
Do you know what I mean? It's like I've eaten the carbs since 2006. But it was an eye opener for me, to be honest with you. And I think it's a good metaphor as well, to be honest. Like there's no replacement for hard work. Yeah. That's what comedy, that's what any industry or any job or anything like that. Everyone can fluff about or go, oh, this. If you want to do something, you have to just dig in, sacrifice other shit, and just
do it.
Burst it out. You just have to do it. There's nothing else to talk about. Comics are always asking me, oh, how'd you get that? I just got a kind of a TV thing yesterday that's going to be happening in April, and I'm like, class. And years ago I'd be like, oh, I hope someday I can get that. And now I don't think about that. I just go, keep busy,
and it'll come.
It just comes, and it comes when you're not expecting.
I think a lot of things do come when you stop looking, don't they?
Yeah, but you got to put in the work as well. It's like, that whole thing. What's the secret?
The secret.
You know, the book.
It's
like, just give it out.
Just put a picture of a beaver on your fridge, and it'll just appear by osmosis. You know what I mean?
Bullshit,
it's complete bullshit.
Whereas if you go get a job, you work hard, you save money, then you buy a beaver. You know what I mean? But it's because you did it, and someone else sitting at home going, how come I don't have a fucking beaver? Everyone in Ireland, like we've an awful habit in this country. There's a bit of a system as well of just like this entitlement. Like I had a single mother growing up. Like we weren't poor, but there's no money or wealth around there. Like I had no backup plan. There's no house coming to me, or do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And I know a lot of people like
no road frontage.
But that's it. A lot of people in they're like, oh they know their parents are going to leave them loads of money. So they don't bother putting the effort in. They're like, oh well, I'm going to inherit $1 million quid gaff. But then you're 60. You buy your own fucking house. I just can't. I don't know. I look at the likes of Jason Byrne, Foil Arms and Hog, who've just done it themselves. Just from working their arses off.
And there's so much content those guys. Like it's just constantly putting out stuff.
I watched for anyone listening that wants a bit of motivation to be a bit driven. Watch Kevin Hart. I really respect him as an act. His stuff isn't really my bag. I don't find him particularly funny. I know he's the biggest comic in the world and blah blah blah. But he's got a documentary on Netflix called Don't Fuck This Up, and I watched it. I watched it on the way. I was doing gigs in Dubai, and I was like, do you know what? I'll watch it on the iPad or whatever. And I was watching it, and Jesus Christ, man, like it's inspiring.
He is unreal. I'd seen 1 or 2 episodes, and I was actually surprised at how much he actually has. He's not just Kevin Hart.
He is an absolute one, but he's a team around him as well. And
they're good people. They're proper.
They straighten him out when he's going wrong.
But myself and Jer, we work together a lot on another comic called Damon Clark, and we mightn't see each other for weeks and weeks on end. But we've got a WhatsApp group that we send jokes into each other while we're driving, and go, what do you think about this? Or if I can't
while you're driving, well,
you know what I mean? You send the audio, whatever. So I like if I can't do a gig, I get someone else to cover for me, and you're just working with each other all the time. You need to work with people.
There's no badness in each other,
No, but there's a lot of comics have this horrible attitude of years ago. If they say to you, can you do this gig, and you can't because you have another gig, and the promoter will go, do you know anyone else? They go, oh no, I can't think of anyone.
Because they don't want to give away.
And it's just
not nice.
It's a childish, shitty attitude to have, and you're like, you shouldn't be competing with anyone. And comedy's so individual as well that if you're threatened by someone else, it means you're like, no one's the same as you, so you shouldn't be threatened by anything.
But it is that whole, what does go around comes around. I do believe, like, if someone is, as opposed to being like, no, I don't know anyone, if someone's just like, do you know what, you can actually give him a go, because I do think he's got a lot of play. And then, like, that person might, if the opportunity comes up for them, it'll come back to you. I do think that stuff can happen.
The harder you work and the sounder you are, I'm not talking about licking arse or, you know what I mean? You just be sound, and if lads do a good job, be nice to them, pay people properly. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got Johnny Graham this weekend. I've Johnny Graham, Bob Hennigan, and Stephen Ryan gigging with me in 3 different places: Galway, Ennis, and Westport. And each one of those lads will do a class job, and then I'll happily have them at any other ones again. And then they'll say, "Do you want to do this gig?" and blah blah blah. They show up, they work hard, they're sound, and that's all you want. I don't want anything else from anyone. Just do a good job, be nice to hang around with, and go home. That's it.
And it just makes life easier.
And you were saying there you're watching Kevin Hart on your way to Dubai. You were in Dubai recently.
Yeah, doing a comedy festival there. It's myself, Joe Rooney, Carl Spain, and Al Foran, the Impressionist.
Yeah, Joe Rooney's Father Damo.
Yeah, Father Damo. We had a really good time, man. And like the one thing I do love about comics is the slagging that we have. Like you do have the crack. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of slagging with each other. But I kind of love it as well because it keeps everyone
on the toes in a sense.
Oh yeah, but like it's like we went to this. We got invited for dinner in this place called Mr. Miyagi's, right? And it was
This is in Dubai.
A dwarf, a transgender dwarf karaoke bar. Where while you're eating your dinner, they come over and sing like power ballads and breakdance and all, right? Now, I don't know, there might be an ethical... Yeah, it's madness, right? It's mad. And as soon as one of them took a shine to me, one of who was a male small person who had transitioned into a female, I don't know what, I think so. Yeah. But anyway, they were getting keen with me, and like they kept coming over when they're bringing over drinks, like rubbing my back and stuff. And I look, and Carl Spain had probably taken 200 photos. He was just literally just looking and then just like sending it into the tour WhatsApp group, going, "Daddy's back on the short."
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah.
Love it.
I love that crack though. Like it's. You know, for all the negativity, you have to be having the crack. If you're not having the crack, what's the point?
It seems like it's a fairly good crack to be honest. Like you were saying, you were in Australia there, like hanging around with Tom Green, and with Bill Burr backstage, and then you're like in Dubai with all this lads. It must be a great crack, just like
there is. There is a lot of negativity. There's a lot of little absolute like weasels who live on Twitter and stuff like that, and who. They haven't put the work in, and they're not good at comedy. But instead of trying to work at either of those two things, they'll just sit scathing and giving out, whatever.
I think it's like the less attention you even give to those people, just the better you are for yourself.
Couldn't agree more. Like the way I think about things is, if you've time to be on Twitter, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Or anything. If you've time to be on Facebook forums writing 500-word essays about bollocks. Like that's an Edinburgh show you could have written. You could have written a script. You could have cleaned your house. There's a million things you could have done that would have been more productive than doing that. You know?
We talked about that in a recent episode, that everyone is just very brave behind their keyboard.
Oh man, the keyboard warriors. I never get into any of that kind of crap, and I've had several incidents over the last few years. One in July of last year with someone like the comics being shitty on the internet. And one of them, I've just confronted them, not in a, like, I'm going to beat you up way. I just go, can we have a conversation, like, what's the story? And every single time it's like House of Cards, they die. They can't deal with it.
A lot of people do that. And it is, I just notice a lot of people just bring it to them and they're like, they cower. And
I was like,
it says a lot about that person.
It absolutely does, and it just shows how, like, it's really sad, to be honest with you, that you're like that as a human. And also,
well, you're probably angry at something the world is like we were saying that on Facebook. You go on, like there could be a news article and people are answering the questions that nobody asked.
Exactly.
They go, well, my opinion is. You go, I don't want to know your opinion. And then it turns into a battle between other people online.
The thing is as well, like you have to be so careful as well. One thing you have to be conscious of: if you're going to say something really horrific to someone on the internet, right? You have no idea what that person is going through at home. Like I used to be a social care worker. I used to work with kids that were being abused and stuff like that. Everyone has got stuff going on, right? All of us do. No one's exempt. You could say something really horrific to someone online. They could have just lost a family member. They could have a kid that's like terminated. You don't know.
That is so true.
And someone could be on the edge, and you could be the one that's going to push them. And look at the suicide rate we have. Like men in this country 5 times higher than women. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, when you're sitting there and you're sending your scathing comments, trying to feel like the big lad. You know, maybe have a little bit of a think.
Or when you spend the 5 minutes writing it and then you don't press send, just fucking delete it instead. You know, there are people like, fucking hell.
Well, the best bit of advice, I suppose, is don't say anything online that you wouldn't be willing to say to someone's face. And unfortunately, 99% of the shit online is something
and
no one will say to anyone.
It's poison.
It's toxic.
But that is so, it's so true. I said that like people do think, you think you're writing a comment or a response to an image and some text. You don't kind of realise that, you don't actually think there is a person behind that. Other people, and I just said there could be anything going on for that.
And when you're face to face with people, heckles, do you get many heckles when you're doing gigs?
Not really. Like I try to stay on it. Like I host the Laughter Lounge, like probably more than anyone, and I'm always in there. Like I'm in there once a month, or if I'm away on tour, I'll come back for a couple of whatever. And I host the rowdiest gigs in there, the Christmas gigs. And I think if you just go on and just be like bang, 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 if you're delivering constantly and you're keeping people entertained, they shouldn't have time to
they'll stay on.
Now you're going to get people that are locked and coked up that are going to scream stuff and be mental, but that's uncontrollable. So I think if you just stay on top of it, I do feel for like quieter comedians that are a little bit more kind of laconic and stuff like that, and if people are locked and they're in the middle of a more story narrative type bit and someone's just like it just breaks their flow. But you know, that's the way it is.
As a comic, Danny, do you find, just in your everyday life, if you're going through a normal situation and something hilarious happens, just randomly, are you just like, nice?
Oh yeah, 100%. I did notes, you know the notes thing on your phone? I have about 700 notes on my phone. Or I just put audios in. Like I was walking around Morocco. I was there after, I went on Stevens's Day to Morocco, and it was the most bizarre thing ever. I left Ireland on Stevens's Day.
Were you doing a gig over there?
No, I just went. I booked it months ago and I got a cheap ride there. And then I went there.
Why not?
I just went there. Yeah, I was just like, the only time I'm going to get away this year is if I go between Christmas and New Year. So I just went to Morocco kind of on a whim on my own. I was walking around Marrakesh and it was bananas. Like, it was like Star Wars, like the snake charmers, like lads with monkeys on chains, like people burning stuff. Yeah, like throwing up these mad things into the air, you know, just like sheep heads everywhere.
Probably nice food.
Yeah, the food's savage, like really good. But I wonder if I go to the toilet really quick. Just pause that for 2 seconds. What were we talking about?
We're back there now. Yeah, sorry, just nature call.
What were we on about?
Gigs. I don't know.
Morocco.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's a mad place. So I was doing audio recordings whilst walking around Morocco, because I was like, I don't want to forget about some of this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Just to keep it. So then I'll go back through the audio. Some of it'll be funny. Some of it might have something in it. Like I did a new bit last night actually during a show. I was just taking the piss out of the Ennis Duns stores, right? Because it's a class Duns, like it's really beautiful. It's just, you know, it's just really. I'm such a loser.
What's so nice about it?
I don't know. It's just aesthetic. It's just a really good.
When you go in, you go, this is the nice Duns.
But people always say it to me, and or you know, if like my grand aunt lives in Athlone, I have family in Athlone, and I was just doing an impression of her talking about the Duns. And I just thought about it because I was in Duns before I did the gig, like just mooching around. Do you know what I mean? I just like, just something for your head, just clear the head before the gig, you know? You're not going to drink because you're driving or whatever. And I was just thinking about her, and she was like, you're doing a gig down in Ennis? Like, and she just goes, the Duns is fabulous. And then like, the fabulous lasts for about 8 seconds longer. Do you know that? Like, her eyes are rolling and everything, and you're just like, Jesus.
She's reliving it. Like.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And like I said it, and like it killed it, like you know what I mean? And I was like, right.
Well, they're probably aware they have a good looking Duns.
They do, they know it, you know. And I was like,
oh, smug outside.
Yeah, they are pure smug. And I was like, right, there's something in that, and then you go, right, that something about that works. And now, how do I develop that into another bit that's bigger than that becomes a thing.
So you know then when you go to another town and find out what the best is there and use that.
Yeah, but it's just, there's something in that now in my head. I go, right, there's something about Irish ants and that disconnection and that, you know, being really over dramatic about something that's kind of simple as a Duns stores. And I go, there's something in that now, and I'll work on that.
And it's ever like for us, it's the pennies in Ballina.
That's what it is. Yeah. What about that? Pennies on the class.
I'm actually in Ballina in a couple of weeks. I'll be bringing that up.
People go to jail there. Like people go down like because the pennies in Castlebar isn't great.
Pennies,
Where'd you get that? Pennies Ballina. You did, yeah. It's bad. So are you constantly kind of just writing new stuff all the time, just kind of add it into this show? Like,
so this show is done, but then other bits and pieces happens, and it always develops as it goes along. And like last night I was raging. I only thought about it today actually when I was driving here. I forgot a good 4 or 5 minute bit, and it's one of my favourite bits in the show, and I knew I forgot something last night when I was doing the show.
It must be so hard to keep it all there.
Yeah, because I did an hour, and I think it was an hour and 5 last night.
Is that how long the show is?
You try. You're better off trying to keep it under an hour just for bladders and stuff
but
like
you can
that.
Be sure that
I've been at some gigs and I was at Jason Byrne before, and I was literally had a few beers before, and he didn't have a break. And by the end of it, I was, jeez, I'm gonna piss myself.
50 minutes.
And then as soon as it's over, everyone just run to the jacks.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and reel it in now. Right, I'm in Westport tonight. I need to chop this down, and I need to make it a little bit more concise. You know what I mean? because like it's about people's attention spans, particularly on the weekends. People that had a few pints, particularly in the West, people love having scoops.
Yeah, of course. I think it's a night out, isn't it? Like, that's planning it for a while. This is our Friday night out.
If you could support that, I think 50 is kind of the magic time.
Yeah.
But tonight I'm going to be trying to get it under. You don't get thanked for that extra 10 minutes. It's not going to, make the experience a million times better. They'd rather have gone to the toilet.
And because we're Irish and everyone loves a bit of misery, what's the worst gig you've ever done? If you've ever been somewhere,
go on, horrible now.
I'll tell you the worst. I've done loads. I've done loads of fucking shite ones over the years. You know what I mean? Like charity ones are always they're just awful. Like they're badly organised, and they're like, you come in and like no one's interested. And like Damon Clark had an amazing one where he did one for this girl who had to get a kidney, had to get a kidney transplant, and then it just went all horribly wrong. He called her the wrong name, which is fair enough. Like he said Sarah instead of like Sandra or something, and all these aunties started attacking him. And he's like, I'm doing this gig for free. Like I don't know you. Like you know what I mean? Then he felt so bad about that. He goes to her, oh, do you want a drink? Like she gives her she's like, oh, I have a Bulmers. She orders like a Guinness and a Bulmers, and then as he's giving her the Bulmers, his uncle comes over and goes, what? Who gave her that pint? She just got her kidney transplant. That'll kill her. And then the whole crowd circled around him and started screaming at him. I was like, that's amazing.
I'll do another gig for the next kidney. It's great.
We did a pretty awful one in over Christmas for a yacht club in Dunleary. So you only imagine that. No stage. Big round tables, like if it set up like a wedding.
Yeah.
No stage. A microphone on carpet. He called me Danny O'Neill as well when he was bringing me up. And then where I had to stand, the kitchen doors were behind me, so there's just doors swinging
the whole time.
Well, the whole time, and lads washing pots and pans and banging around and stuff. And like half them sitting with their back to me, wouldn't even turn around.
Oh god!
And it was I had to do half an hour, and I'll tell you what, I must have done. It was like I just went up to nothing. Yeah. No crack, like they weren't even listening to the guy who'd organised it, you know what I mean? They're all just scooping. Yeah. I probably did, I'd say I did an hour and a half of material in half an hour.
Yeah.
Because if stuff isn't, because if it's not going, you're getting...
But then there's just like the ignorance of it. Even if someone's there and they are just show them courtesy.
People are awful and they're getting worse. It's because of mobile phones as well. All of our attention spans are shortening. Yeah. I was slagging a fella last night because the whole room was dark and I could just see his face lit up at the back. I was like, man, it looks like you're telling yourself a ghost story. What's going on? And they all started laughing. Then afterwards, he's like, oh, I was just checking the Liverpool scores.
And because you give so much, how do you constantly? Because you write your shows, right? But then you're doing your stand-up gigs as well, and you probably have to have relevant material to what's happening in the news, what's happening.
I try and keep away from the topical stuff because I just think it's short-lived, and we see enough of it between memes on Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of crack. So I just try to. It's okay to talk about stuff that's relevant, but if it's like a punchy, I just couldn't be arsed. Like,
you don't do political stuff, right?
No, I'd rather just do stuff that's happening with me and happening at the time, and then you can develop that bit. Like, there's no point in me doing like loads of like Harry and Meghan stuff and now, and then by the time I'm doing my new show in Edinburgh in August, everyone's gonna be like, yeah, man, we get it. Like, I think you're better off keeping the themes a bit general. And then you can work on it, and that way they don't expire so quickly.
They can recycle it.
Yeah.
So apart from you touring around Ireland, have you got any more international stuff coming up?
Yeah,
must be good crack, just being able to travel.
That's the biggest thing.
And is it Irish crowds? And you're in Dubai, is it Irish people or?
Mixed. There's a lot of Irish there because obviously it's McGettigan's, and then this year I've got gigs in Hong Kong. I'm actually off the booze and everything from now till Hong Kong. I've given myself.
When's that?
I'm on the road every weekend.
When is it?
Paddy's week. The week, so I think it's like the 10th to the 17th. Okay. You know that weekend before Paddy's week.
Yeah.
When it falls.
So you go back on the booze Paddy's Day.
I'll have a few in Hong Kong. It's a scoop city. You know.
If you're driving and stuff the whole time anyway, you probably just can't.
Yeah. Well, I can't. Yeah. And then the likes of those gigs, obviously, you're not driving because you're in a different country. And then I'm going to Asia to do. I'm in Asia for about a week and a half. Did gigs in Singapore and Vietnam. But then that's breaking up the journey going to New Zealand, and I'll be in New Zealand Comedy Festival for all of May.
Class.
And then you come back to Ireland and you're back into festivals, club gigs, Edinburgh previews, and you just start.
Edinburgh, that's
the big one. That's what we work towards every year.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, literally that's it. Yeah. Without Edinburgh, you're lost. It's your year. It's the whole thing that you're working towards all year. There's a lot of comics, and Jer, I'm sure, has mentioned this, to be like, what's the point going to Edinburgh? I might as well just throw 10 grand in the bin. And it's the negativity that we were speaking about earlier on. And I've done 3 tours in Australia because of Edinburgh. I only am doing this as a professional career because of Edinburgh.
Okay, yeah.
Where else are you going to get an opportunity? It is a lot of money. It costs a fortune. And like,
well, you don't make money out of that.
You do. I did a bit, like, but if you were,
if I was
to break down the amount of hours versus what I made, it wouldn't even be near minimum wage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you don't do it for that. You do it because you go in with a semi-formed show. You pound it out for 26 nights in a row, and at the end of that 26 nights, you've got a really good developed hour, and then you bring that, and then people will see you get brought to festivals. You know, you get to do better club gigs in the UK. Yeah. It's boot camp.
But it's like a workout for a comic, like really, you know, training ground.
I record every show or nearly every show on my phone, and I listen back, and the next day I'll sit there with a pen and paper, and I'm like, oh, that didn't work, that didn't work, that didn't work. That worked. This is new.
Really crafted.
Are you tough on yourself in that way?
We just listen, man. If no one's laughing, no one's laughing. You gotta be honest. If you have to be, and like I bounce ideas off other comics, and I go, this isn't working. Should I drop it, or is there something in that? And they'll go, well, why don't you say this? Yeah. And a slight change of saying something can make something totally funny or totally work or not. You know what I mean? Just link it in, or maybe if you said this way, or. There's always ways around things, you know.
Yeah. Well, Sam, I know you got to go because you're playing time. You're getting a haircut and everything.
But
you're getting a haircut at Dalton's. The mecca of
cash only.
Yeah.
Card machine broke.
Definitely have to say, well worth going to see Danny O'Brien.
Yeah, I've seen you a couple of times.
Danny O'Neill.
Danny O'Neill, yeah.
I've seen you in the comedy club, and I saw your show in the Lynn Hall, and you're here again in March.
Yeah, so that's with this new show, which is called Reformer. So I'll be doing Westport in Mayo. I'll be doing Westport. Tonight, obviously, Ballina tomorrow week, and then I'll be in the Linen Hall in March, and I'll be in Claremorris in February as well.
And what about
all the other dates everywhere else?
Where do you find you?
All the tour dates are on DannyO'BrienComedy.com, and just Instagram at DOB Comedy, and I always have everything on Instagram, so you'll find everything on that.
So Danny.
Food reviews and all.
Everything. You name it.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I know you've been trying to come on for a long time. and we just about squeezed in. No, thanks a million, Danny. It's an absolute treat talking to you.
Cheers, lads.
Nice one. Thank you.
Cheers, lads.